Bob and I have been in state and federal court over this problem since 2004. And most of the time since 2004, we've been in federal court or state court. In 2012, we were in both federal and state court at the same time on election day. And we had one of the top witnesses, top experts from the National Security Agency as our expert witness on this problem that was described on Fox News about these illegal patches being on the computers. And we put the spotlight on it. And in the courtroom on election day, the judge said, if there's a problem with the numbers, if the numbers look funny, you come back in to the courthouse and we'll talk about who pays for the audit. Because what we said is that because the patches are already attached, the only way to catch the fraud is by doing an audit. And because these perpetrators of this fraud, calling this an experimental patch that they put on 30% of the county tabulators, is to have them pay for the audit, not the citizens. Them pay for the audit.
Wait, why on earth would they approve an experimental patch?
Well, an experimental under law, you're allowed one experimental patch in one precinct. They were going to put it in 44 counties. They got it on 30 counties before a Republican member of the Secretary of State's office contacted me and blew the whistle.
All right, so on election night, I mean, what happened in the courtroom happened in the courtroom. We were keeping the FBI informed every step of the way. And election night, the FBI was in the Secretary of State's office. All right, the FBI probably also had wiretaps.
2012?
2012. All right, so on election night, Karl Rove is on Fox News. They call the election in Ohio for Obama. And Karl Rove says, wait a minute, all the votes aren't in yet. It's premature. And he basically goes into a fight with the Fox News people. And their experts come out and say, no, Karl, we looked at it, the numbers are there. And here's what's the real story. And it's written up in Washington Spectator that no one told Karl that the fix was off because the scrutiny was on. All right, when I talk about a lawsuit, this is not a fiction. I'm talking about we have been doing this, and we are doing it now. And we are filing a lawsuit which will put the spotlight on these exit polls. We announced we were going to file such a lawsuit to compel the news media to report the actual exit poll results so that the public would know if there's apparent fraud. And guess what the media did? They canceled the exit poll. You're going to sue us to make it public, or we just won't do it. And that's why Lori and Bob are organizing a citizen exit poll. But we're also going to file a lawsuit. And the lawsuit is going to demand that all of the exit polls, 24 exit polls showing the fraud, now be public, that be published, that they stop suppressing the evidence of crime. All right. Secondly, we have the guy who was investigating the fraud in the 2004 Ohio election, who documented in a book this thick, not only with precinct voting data, but actual ballots, a DVD of the actual ballots that were manipulated. He has been investigating all of these primaries. We have identified which precincts in this country the fraud has occurred, and we will be going into court with a demand to inspect the ballots. We will digitally photograph the ballots, and then we will have ballots. We can count them. We can do it publicly. Everybody can observe or participate. You want to recount them yourself to check it? We'll have them. The fix is on. They've done it. They've done it. They've stolen again. They're serial vote thieves. And we've got the evidence. We've got the know-how. We've got the experts. We've got the mechanism of the courts that understand the problem, and we're going after it. we're going to be filing a racketeering lawsuit.
RICO.
Under the Ohio racketeering law, it's the strongest in the country, and we can bring in every state. Our RICO statute is coextensive with the federal RICO statute, but it's much more aggressive in allowing us to go back in time, and it's a much stronger RICO statute. So they're nailed.
Wow.
It's obvious. It's just like Bernie Sanders when he talks about the system is rigged. The elections are rigged. The evidence is clear. Everybody's going to see it, and the game is over. Bernie has won, in fact, and he will win officially. Yes, sir.
On election day, as soon as they're able to report the results, they're going to say that Hillary Clinton has enough delegates. She's done. Stop counting. It's all over.
People can say anything they want, but the facts are facts, and the facts are coming out. And there's no way the Democratic convention is going to nominate somebody on the basis of obviously stolen votes. And that the facts are coming out, and that's the fact.
My apologies. Let me say it right.
Go ahead.
The media will create a fait accompli. Will try to create a fait accompli. The question is, how do you?
We are suing the media as being complicit in the crime. They are acting as accessories after the fact. They are covering up evidence of criminal activity. It's a crime. Obviously, this is a big undertaking, and it's going to be in phases. But it will be launched before the California primary, and the spotlight will be on. The activity will, the spotlight will be on it. In terms of the full parameters of the racketeering claim, it's going to be a little later, and it's going to be as soon as we can get it done. But it's going to take a little
and hopefully before July.
But before the convention, it's going to be filed. We expect that before the convention, the actual unexpurgated exit polls will be for the entire primary will be available for public view. And can you imagine? If the media says, well, we're not going to report that, and when they've been compelled to produce this information.
The complaint itself, which I hope you send all over the internet, is going to bring in Steve Friedman from Penn. It's going to bring in people like Beth Clarkson, the statistician of Wichita State, Richard Charnon, that it's going to lay out exactly what happened, and you're going to have some of the best mathematicians and some of the leading academics
and maybe Emily
say under oath that this is election tampering. I mean, so that the complaint itself will carry the history of exactly what happened to Bernie Sanders in this campaign.
And it's not just these exit polls, it's this precinct data where we are going to be able to say where the votes were stolen. And it's in the African American, Latino, predominantly districts in urban
and university
locations.
And the university.
That's where, and we're going to be going for the ballots. We're going to be digitally photographing the ballots. This is no longer all the hiding is over. We're going to be in court. We're going to have discovery, and it's all coming out.
So are you saying that if this fraud didn't happen, Bernie Sanders would be the winning
candidate?
The presumptive
the winning
nominee.
candidate in the Democratic Party?
Yes.
Yes.
It's amazing.
How do you have standing here to do this? Or who are you?
We want to be in a court that is already familiar with the problem. And there's a federal court and there's a state court, both of which are familiar with the problem. In the federal court, the plaintiff, to relate our current case to the case that's before the federal court before, the plaintiff is an entity called King Lincoln Bronzeville Neighborhood Association, which is an African American community, and they were the plaintiff in this earlier case. And they have standing because this has been a violation under the 1983 section of the Civil Rights Statute. And there's no question they have standing. And that case pended for quite a while, and that case can be refiled. and then it will be expanded to add additional plaintiffs, to add additional defendants, and as an amended complaint. If it's filed in the state court, Bob Fitrakis was the plaintiff in the 2012 case. And Bob Fitrakis has standing on multiple bases. He is the editor-in-chief of the Free Press, which is a commercial, it's a nonprofit, but it's an organization that's engaged in news reporting. Free Press has been prejudiced by the cover-up of the major media. He's been ridiculed. His newspaper's been ridiculed because they're covering up the crime which he's reporting. He's got standing on that basis. Bob Fitrakis is co-chairman of the Green Party in the state of Ohio, and he has standing in that sense. Bob Fitrakis is a candidate for political office, is an independent, is a Green Party candidate for political office. He has standing on that basis. Bob Fitrakis is an all-round Renaissance man who has standing on at least 3 or 4 bases.
Do you think you're going to be able to get some form of injunctive relief in time to impact the election?
The theory of injunctive relief is this. Every day that you or I cover up a crime is a crime, and we will seek an injunction against the continuing cover up of this information, this data. And so yes, we're going to file for discovery under the civil rules. We will file for discovery, which has to be produced within 28 or 30 days, depending upon which court we're in. But we're also going to seek injunctive relief, and we're going to argue that for the public to remain in the dark during this critical period, for example, when the California, the biggest state in terms of votes, is voting, for them to be denied the knowledge of all this criminal activity that's been going on in every election up to this time is outrageous, and it creates irreparable harm. The public has a need to know today that this is going on.
My question is when Bernie becomes the Democratic nominee and when he's on the ballot in November, can Bernie, against the corrupt and rigged system of the election, the voting machines in Ohio and in the swing states, California's going to vote Bernie no matter what in November, but will the swing states be able to be won with these rigged machines?
Once this lawsuit takes its course, the cheating game is over. We will be doing some things on our own, but the FBI and the Justice Department will be kept fully informed. And I expect, as the facts come out, I believe we have an honest Justice Department, an honest FBI, and there will be a prosecution of the people that are doing this. So it's over.
The governors are Republicans and the Secretary of States are Republicans. And so this obviously can be a problem. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
None of them want to go to jail, and that's where we are.
All right.
Yes.
I just have a question about how long your lawsuit's going to take. Yeah. Because they string these things out for years. And I mean, I believe it's a long-term good, but how's that? I mean, the Supreme Court's in the next 4 years. It depends on this election.
Okay, here's the thing about lawsuits. Whether it's through the injunctive action or through the routine discovery. When I say routine, I mean we have a very liberal discovery process. The idea of the court system, both state and federal, is to get the facts out. Each side is entitled to the evidence, and we're going to have aggressive discovery. And it's not going to be under seal. It's going to be public. So the facts are going to be out. And the key to this is not what is at the end of the rainbow? What are the damages? What do we want? That's not what is important here. What's important here is getting the truth out now, and we can do it. Yes, sir.
Suing the San Francisco Chronicle?
Well, no, the media consortium, we're suing them. We will be suing them. That's NBC, CBS, Fox News, Associated Press. It's a good group, and that will be news.
If we're suing the media, then why is the media then going to tell us that they're being sued?
I'm sorry.
Like if CNN's getting sued or Fox 5 is getting sued, are they going to say, "Hey, I'm being sued"? Or how is it going to get out in the media?
We're only suing 6 of them, right? We're only suing, the 4 networks, the Associated Press, and CNN. That's the election pool.
Okay.
So other groups like Amy Goodman, I guess, and
Any
what
other
else?
questions?
Well, for all the other
Nation of
newspapers,
Change.
San Francisco Chronicle, they're not being sued, right? The Columbus Dispatch isn't being sued. Okay, I'll be somewhat quick here. How many have heard of Seidel? Seidel, okay, a few of you. Seidel counted all of the overseas votes and American abroad votes in 2012. 36 states allow them to directly input into the state central tabulator. And once you do that, you own it, right? You can do whatever you want. So Seidel, if you go back, you look at things, Not a Capital has an interest in it.
They don't know about Not a Capital.
I'm going to tell them. Not a Capital likes to hang around with the CIA nonprofit and develop technology. Not a Capital has an ownership interest in Carrier IQ. Anyone familiar with Carrier IQ? It's a third-party app on your phone you can't get rid of. It's the one that turns your phone on without letting you know and records you and videos you. They own that technology. You can go online as some 17-year-old kid or so in his parents' basement. When he went through all his apps, he found one that you couldn't agree to and you couldn't get rid of without damaging your phone. That's Carrier IQ. Who owns it? NADA, has an ownership in Seidel. Balderton Capital, long thought to be a intelligence proprietary in Britain. This is British intelligence money right here that's invested as well. Over here is Vulcan, ownership interest. But they're always hanging around and have these relationships with these other companies. For example, here's the CEO of Seidel. He also, again, facilitated the sale of GlobalNet to Titan, right? It's in the public record.
What's Titan again?
You remember Titan? They're the ones that tortured people at Abu Ghraib with khaki. Titan L7, one of their very famous story. One of them raped a young boy underage and wasn't even fired. That's Titan L7, right? Who facilitated the sale? The CEO of Seidel, who counts our vote. These people, through interlocking directorships, these people are based in Barcelona, Spain. And when we pointed that out in 2012, the Free Press pointed that out. How did we do it? We looked at the stock filings. We looked at the stock exchange. And what they did after that, first of all, they said, we're not counting them in Barcelona. We're counting them in our U.S. headquarters. So we sent people to their U.S. headquarters. It was a private residence in Virginia, not that far from Langley. Now, so they bought up SOE. So now SOE is a software giant, and Seidel, this is one-stop shopping. What can they do? Go to their websites. They don't hide this stuff. They will take your voter database and register it for you, right? If you signed up to vote for Bernie, they'll put you in the Libertarian Party or the American Independence Party. They'll do that. They'll create your tablets. They'll train your poll workers. They'll monitor your social media to make sure people have good election experiences. And they'll tabulate your vote for you. And they'll do your election night reporting. One-stop shopping for friends of the intelligence community. Yeah, go ahead.
You just mentioned something that has alarmed me. What happens when you digitally leave a footprint that you are pro-Bernie and you are pro-progressive?
That data, they have it. There's people that do nothing but traffic in this data, and they're very precise. Thank you. I think, are we adjourning? All right.
Thank you. Woo!